The Trump campaign steps up vice presidential vetting efforts. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because everyone, it appears that we could be seeing Trump's vice presidential pick sometime soon, as the Trump campaign steps up vice presidential vetting efforts. Now, I am not saying for 100% certainty that anyone mentioned in this article will be the VP. In fact, it could still be some random name that we'd never heard about, but as of now, it seems like these are the finalists for Trump's vice presidential pick. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it. Former President Donald Trump's campaign has been requesting information from his potential vice presidential picks, sending vetting paperwork to a list of top contenders in recent weeks, according to two people familiar with the efforts. So, this means that more than likely by the end of the month, we're going to get a VP. I would assume so, because when campaigns send out paperwork like this, trying to figure out, okay, what's in Doug Burgum's closet? Same thing with Marco Rubio, etc. That usually means they're serious about getting a VP ASAP. So I would assume that within the next month or so, we're going to get a VP. And we basically have to, because the vice presidential debate is what, in a month? So it is coming up very soon, and we got to figure out, okay, who will be Trump's VP? Among those who received requests are Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, JD Vance, and Tim Scott, which we kind of expected for months that more than likely Trump's VP is going to be one of these four. Now, I would say three of them are solid, one of them is bad. Tim Scott, again, I don't have anything against the guy personally, but politically, he sucks. All right? He is awful on the issues, especially, quote-unquote, criminal justice reform. Remember that? There are some big question marks with Tim Scott. I would not pick him. Now, as for the other three, JD Vance I like. I think he's easily a top 5 senator, but it would be a stupid decision to pick him. Why? Because you know damn well, the second that he's out of the Senate, Mike DeWine's going to pick someone like Matt Dolan to be the next senator. You don't want that in the Senate. You want JD Vance to be in the Senate, because when you have a possible 2-seat majority, yeah, you probably want a JD Vance type to be in that majority, because if you don't, well, you get stuck with Murkowski, with Collins, with, in this case, Matt Dolan. So I would say Doug Burgum and Marco Rubio make the most sense. Doug Burgum because, well, no one knows the guy, so it physically cannot hurt him. Doug Burgum has not the most name recognition. Yeah, he ran for president, but outside of that, he's the governor of North Dakota. No one knows who the hell he is. So, since he's so unknown, Trump picking Burgum would be safe, because I highly doubt that Burgum would hurt Trump. At the same time, I doubt that he would help him, but maybe it does, because he is a more, I guess you could say, generic conservative. He's not, a MAGA Republican like JD Vance or Byron Donalds, for example. He's a more generic guy. Therefore, it should help alleviate some of the Nikki Haley voters, theoretically some of the more moderate Republicans. I guess that makes sense. But either way, Burgum's the safe choice, because you're not going to add much to the ticket, but at the same time, you're not losing anything. But I would argue, of these four options, Marco Rubio makes the most sense. The fact that Rubio is now considered a vice presidential pick is crazy to think about, but it's possible. Especially with the fact that, yeah, Rubio has a lot going for him. One, he's a Hispanic. We all know that Republicans really want to do better with Hispanic voters, especially Trump. So, theoretically, if you pick someone like Rubio, you should do better with the Hispanic vote. I know people are going to say, well, he's Cuban. But that really shouldn't matter, and even if he only does a couple points better because of Rubio, well, it's still a couple points better with a group that for years has been fairly Democrat. But on top of that, Rubio is Catholic, and we haven't discussed the religion angle enough, I would say. I think Trump should pick a Catholic VP, and I know, Red Eagle, he made a tweet on this like a week ago or whatever, but I agree with him. I think Trump should pick a Catholic as his VP. I might be a little bit biased here, but it makes sense because that's Biden's whole MO, that, oh, he's a Catholic, in quotation. Well, if Trump were to pick a Catholic as VP, that should nullify any gains Biden makes with the Catholic vote. Because Trump has a VP on his ticket. So if Catholics vote for Biden because he's Catholic, well, theoretically, they should be more open-minded to Trump because his VP is in fact Catholic. And that would help Trump in a swing state like Wisconsin, which has a large Catholic vote. But at the same time, it would help him in states like New York, New Mexico. Because, again, those states have a lot of Catholic voters. And those are states that Trump wants to do a lot better in. So, it's a win-win for everybody. I would assume it would make sense to pick Rubio if that's a strategy. Do better with Hispanic voters and the Catholic vote. Now, I'm not saying Trump's going to win by 50 points with both groups, but even a 2-point bump is a 2-point bump. That could help him in Wisconsin. That could help him in Arizona even. Florida Representative Byron Donalds, New York Representative Elise Stefanik, and Trump's 2016 rival turned cabinet member Ben Carson were also said to be on the list. And I'm going to say that neither of these three are going to be picked. I highly doubt it. Maybe Ben Carson, because he did serve in the cabinet, but outside of that, I don't think Stefanik is going to be the VP at this point. Outside of being a woman, why would Trump pick her? And Donalds, yeah, he could help with the African-American vote, and he's good on the issues, but I just don't think he's ready to be the VP. He's only been in Congress for, 4 years? And I don't think that's enough time to suddenly become the vice president. Aides have cautioned that Trump's list is fluid and involving in that the decision will be up to him. Anyone claiming to know who or when Trump will choose his VP is lying, unless a person is named Donald John Trump. Trump campaign spokesperson Brian Hughes said in a statement, and yeah, that's right, but I do think we are getting very close. I'm not saying we're getting it next week, but the fact that the campaign is now sending out paperwork and they've actually been doing it for, it sounds like 2 or 3 weeks, should make you really wonder, okay, are we about to get the VP decision soon? Because it would make sense. Why would you send out the paperwork 2 weeks ago, but not make an announcement till, say, August? It wouldn't make much sense, but I do think we should get the VP selection shortly. The news comes a week after Trump was found guilty by a jury in Manhattan of 34 counts of falsifying business records in his criminal hush money trial. He's set to be sentenced next month, and that's why I think Trump is going to make the decision soon. Because he wants someone to be actively campaigning for him just in case. You know, you don't want to have a campaign where he does have the VP at that time, which he will, and no one can campaign. Well, which I guess you could say, well, surrogates like Scott, surrogates like Rubio, they could campaign for Trump, but you want an official running mate. Just in case something crazy occurs where, yeah, he's thrown in jail, he can't campaign, can't do anything. So if he selects a VP, the VP can hold rallies for him across the country. Trump has said he is in no hurry to announce his running mate and could wait until the Republican National Convention in July to unveil a person who will serve with him on the GOP ticket, but I don't think he will. Because now with the sentencing being the day before the convention, or 2 days before, he's going to have to pick a VP soon. He just has to. He can't wait till the convention at this point, which is sad, but that's the reality of it. Because we could see him thrown in jail. Which is the reason that this decision is Trump's most important, because he needs someone to campaign for him just in case something crazy occurs where, yeah, he's thrown in jail, he can't do anything, can't say anything, which is just crazy to think about, but that's America in 2024. That's a sad reality of the United States of America. We're locking up political opponents because he can win. That's the only reason that they went after Trump. If he had no shot at winning, if he wasn't running, they would have never went after him. That's a fact. Now, as for the people that we have on this list, I think the most realistic option for Trump, and this is not my opinion, I personally would pick Bergman Rubio, but I do think as of now, for whatever reason, Trump is leaning towards Tim Scott. He adds nothing to the ticket. Again, I said that he would be an awful pick, but that doesn't mean I don't think Trump's going to pick him. I think Tim Scott right now is the favorite. Maybe Ben Carson, that's another one that he could pick him. But it sucks that we might end up with Tim Scott. I think he's the worst option here. Worse than Stefanik. You know, Tim Scott is just that bad. Again, I hope he picks Burgum, Rubio, hell, Ben Carson. Because you either get loyalty or you get someone that actually adds something to the ticket. What does Tim Scott add? Seriously. What does Tim Scott add to the ticket? Oh, he's African American. Whoop-de-doo. Even with Trump doing much better with that group, I highly doubt that him picking Tim Scott will add any new voters. It's not like with Rubio where not only is he Catholic, but he's Hispanic. That's a double whammy. That's a win-win. You know, if Trump picks Rubio, theoretically he should do better in states like Arizona, states like Nevada, hell, even Texas and New Mexico, but also states like Wisconsin. And everyone knows he wants to do a lot better in New York. Take a guess which religious group is significant in New York. Catholics. Same thing with Hispanics. They are a key voting bloc in states like New York. That's why I think Rubio, of these options, make the most sense. And it's Florida. Ron DeSantis should pick someone decent. It's not going to be some, you know, Charlie Crist type. It's not like with J.D. Vance where you pick Vance and you get stuck with Matt Dolan in the Senate. That's the reality of it. That's awful. But yeah, we probably get stuck with Matt Dolan for a couple years. Now, as for names that aren't on the list, I would assume someone like Lee Zeldin could potentially be on the list. If, again, I'm not saying he's going to be the VP. I don't think he is. But if there are people that aren't mentioned here, it would be someone like Lee Zeldin. It would make, again, perfect sense for Trump. He's a good campaigner. He's from New York, which therefore should benefit Trump a little bit, especially since back in 2022, he nearly won the governorship. There are positives with Zeldin. I think he should pick him. But either way, we just got to see what happens. We are still weeks away from this, but it seems like we're finally getting close to getting a VP for Trump, which it probably will be his most important decision he's ever had to make. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.